Welcome back to the channel. This is Trinity Storm, and you are watching third and final part of What If Naruto Showed No Mercy. If you enjoy this video, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Now, wasting no more time, let's start the story.
Konoha Village Square. People gathered in the village square to see the fire daimyo, which was a rare treat for them and a morale boost after Namikaze Naruto destroyed a lot of Konoha. A big part of the fire daimyo's guard was with him, and another was nearby in case they needed help controlling the crowd at a big event. People of Konoha, as the fire daimyo of this great country, I have done my best to help you by giving you money and missions while putting my reputation on the line by saying I trust you. However, less than a week before my arrival, some very disturbing information came to my doorstep, and after reading it, my trust in the Leaf Village was very much shaken. And now the village takes another hit, Homura and his fellow council members thought bitterly. They had all but begged the daimyo to change his mind, but he just looked at them and told them to be quiet. You may be wondering why my faith in the Leaf is so shaken. The answer is very simple. When the Kyuubi attacked your village, the Yondaime sealed the demon inside a baby boy who had just been born that night, and right before he died, the man wished for the child to be seen as a hero for what he held. He's still a demon. He proved it when he attacked the village, said a villager, who got a few nods and yells of agreement before the fire daimyo shut him up with a commanding hand. Attacked in retaliation for what you people did to him when he was younger, and from what I hear, you even blamed him for the deaths of people who died long before the first Shinobi War. In fact, Naruto's own grandfather was still a child when that war happened, and you still blamed him for all their deaths, said the fire daimyo. The people looked away as if they didn't want to believe they were wrong. Daimyo-sama, please tell them the truth about the Uchiha massacre now. They still need to know what the councils have been hiding from them, said Tsunade, who could see that the council behind her was starting to sweat because they were dreading this moment. Yes, thank you Hokage-sama for reminding me. Another reason I called this public meeting was to tell you that I've heard that the Uchiha massacre was ordered by the councils with the approval of none other than the late Sandaime, said the fire daimyo. The people protested, saying that the Sandaime would never have approved of something like that and that the feudal lord was lying. The Uchiha clan would never do something like that. It's all the demon's fault that it happened, Sakura said from the crowd, which was still rallying around that fact. You mean the same demon that was summoned by a member of the Uchiha clan? Asked the fire daimyo when he saw that the crowd had stopped protesting after hearing those words. Tsunade smirked as she looked at the crowd of shocked people in front of her. Yes. It looks like the Uchiha clan you all love has a connection to the Kyuubi of old, and it was their prized Sharingan that was able to summon the fox in the first place. The Uchiha clan was also planning to overthrow the Sandaime to create another Uchiha Madara to further strengthen their control over Konoha, and then turn one Namikaze Naruto into a weapon, said the fire daimyo, seeing the crowd shocked. You're lying. My family would never be so low as to betray the village, Sasuke told the daimyo as he stood in front of him with the feudal lord's guards ready to kill the Uchiha if he turned out to be a threat to the leader of Fire Country. Oh, they wanted your older brother to be Madara's second coming, but they didn't know he was the Hokage's spy. When Itachi told the Sandaime what they were planning, he gave the order, but your brother killed your whole clan before leaving, so it was up to you to bring your clan back to life. This made the councils realize they could make another Madara, but this one they could control. Those jerks. When his Sharingan turned on, Sasuke saw that the council members were shaking out of fear of him. Why do you think they wanted you to be the next Hokage? Why did they have Kakashi teach only you? I'm glad Naruto is coming to kill you all, and I'm not going to stop him, said the fire daimyo when he saw that the people were starting to panic at the news. Save us. Someone in the village cried out, and other cries were similar. You can't do this. We are your people, said another villager, begging the man to save them from being destroyed. Why should I help you? You didn't honor the Yondaime's dying wish and brought this on yourselves. You loved a traitorous clan over the one that has done almost everything to protect you from death. I hereby wash my hands of you and declare you to be on your own. Also, I declare that immediately, Uchiha Sasuke's bloodline will be sealed off and never to be used again or passed down to that of offspring until I say otherwise. I want to respectfully ask you to remove that last condition about the arrogant and weak Uchiha, Daimyo-sama, said Subaku no Gaara as Kankuro and Baki appeared behind him in a whirlwind of sand. Kage-sama, what are you doing here? The fire daimyo asked, waving his guards away because he knew Gaara wouldn't attack because he knew the wind daimyo wouldn't let any more stupid fights happen. Gaara said, I'm asking this on behalf of my close friend, the Yokokage, or Namikaze Naruto, as the leaf calls him. Everyone around them gasped, and the fire daimyo raised an eyebrow. Really? Why? Asked the fire daimyo when he heard about Gaara in Naruto's past. He had learned that they were like cousins who had had similar problems. Because the demon lord who has become Namikaze Naruto wants to fight one Uchiha Sasuke and kill him here before killing everyone in Konoha who has wronged him, Gaara told the people who were scared that the demon would come back to kill them all. I see. Very well. Namikaze Naruto will have his chance to kill Uchiha Sasuke and anyone else he thinks is guilty, the fire daimyo said before leaving the village again, ignoring the villagers' and shinobi's pleas. You all did this to yourselves. You chose to follow the councils, which are mostly made up of civilians and old shinobi, instead of trusting the work of probably the best seal master in all of the elemental countries. You chose the Uchiha clan over that of the Namikaze clan, and now you are all going to pay for it like I am because I didn't stay with my sensei to keep you all in line. Said Tsunade as she left to do her own work, knowing. Yasha Haruno told the other members of the civilian council, we have to do something or we will all die. Sasuke wants power, right? All we have to do is convince him to get stronger here so he can face Naruto and show everyone that Konoha is still the strongest because the last Uchiha is with us, said Danzo. The other two members of the Shinobi Council who were the Sandame's formmates nodded in agreement. Kaharu said, there's work to be done. She knew they had to fight back because they weren't ready to die yet. Sound City. Sound Village in Rice Country. It was small, far away, and well hidden. It was also home to one of the strongest shinobi in all of the elemental countries. But at this point, the village wasn't doing too well and was being hurt by the blows from the Yokokage, who we now know as Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. Since it was started, its numbers had been slowly growing, and the loss of Kabuto, the Sannin's right-hand man, had made things hard. Even though he has a bad reputation, which is what brought so many people to his village, it seems that Orochimaru doesn't have a lot of people who are competent, skilled, and loyal. Not only that, but the pool of bodies he used to choose his next host was starting to run out. If Orochimaru didn't get a new supply of lives soon, things could get bad. Orochimaru-sama, the three Akatsuki members are here and want to start the meeting right away, said a sound shinobi of unknown rank who was kneeling in front of the Sannin and hoping the man wouldn't take his head. Good. Show them the room where we'll be meeting, said Orochimaru, thinking it would be smart to spare this shinobi since he was the most skilled and loyal one he had on hand. If he messed up on a mission, he could always kill the man later. When Orochimaru walked into the room, he saw Pain, Konan, and Zetsu looking at him. When he sat down at the big round table, every member of the group was looking at him. The Sannin could tolerate Pain and Konan because they looked like they might be human, but they couldn't stand Zetsu in his plant-like state. If an Akatsuki member wasn't with Pain and Konan, the Sannin would have burned the thing to death. Maybe now, but all in good time, Orochimaru thought as he looked at Pain, who looked back at him with a blank face. He then quickly glanced at Konan to tell her to start talking. Orochimaru-sama, we of the Akatsuki are here today to bring you back into our organization and to stop this threat from one Namikaze Naruto, also known as the Yokokage, said Konan. Her words were as quiet as ever, but they were serious. Yes, that newly named Demon Lord has been a pain in my side just as much as it has been in yours. I lost a lot of my men to him, including Kabuto, and he took the Fuma clan away from me when I still wanted to do more experiments on the clan itself, Orochimaru said, his eyes filled with hatred and anger towards the once demon vessel, now Demon Lord. Pain said, if you rejoined the Akatsuki, we would be able to use all of our powers to take him down and finally take the power he controls to help us reach our goals. The Sannin nodded, since he had joined the group to find a way to become truly immortal without having to switch bodies. Fine. I'll rejoin the organization as long as the deal I made with you before still stands, said Orochimaru when he saw Pain nod in agreement. But Pain knew that even though he said he would keep the deal he made with the Snake Sannin, he didn't think Madara would, and that would be Orochimaru's downfall. Before they could go on, they heard an explosion that echoed all the way through the compound. They could also hear fighting outside the room. Konan turned to Pain and said, we're under attack. Pain narrowed his eyes at Orochimaru and saw that the Sannin did the same. I need to defend my base. If this attack was started by who I think it was, then I need you three to help defend Sound now that I'm back in the organization and help kill the Namikaze, said Orochimaru as he saw the other Akatsuki members nod their heads in agreement before going out to fight the enemy. As the four Akatsuki members made their way outside, they saw the small village that Orochimaru had started being destroyed and its shinobi being killed without mercy. They saw the Nibi in her demon form setting her victims on fire while her ship cut through them with a Nodashi-class sword she got from the weapons room. This sword came from a raid on Kumo when Sound was just getting started. To Orochimaru's horror, he saw what could only have been a ghost from the past. Kimimaro was right in front of him killing everything in sight, which was unlike anything the Sannin had ever seen. Orochimaru used to think that the albino could be a better fighter than him, but the lung disease he got made him so weak that he was useless to the snake. When the Sannin found out what happened with the Nibi vessel in the second Kyuubi, which was Namikaze Naruto, they also found out why Kimimaro was able to come back from the dead. They saw a Hyuga named Hinata use her gentle fist to kill one sound shinobi after another. She had mixed it with the chakra scalpel's justice to make it even more dangerous. What she didn't destroy on the inside, the Hyuga would cut off with deadly grace, and it was clear she wasn't the shy girl Kabuto's info cards made her out to be. The members of Akatsuki saw him then in the middle of the killing. He was cutting through the Junin who were brave enough to face him, and it wasn't until he killed the last one that Namikaze Naruto looked at the Akatsuki members with bloodshot eyes. The Demon Lord smiled at them with an evil smile that raked his lips and showed his bloody fangs. He had been close enough to several shinobi to rip their throats out. "Hello, Hubby Teme. How have you been?" "Don't answer, because I don't want to know what horrible things you've been doing to little boys," Naruto said as he walked toward the group while the Demon Lord's own team was destroying everything around them. "That last name, Namikaze, still gives me a bad taste in my mouth," Orochimaru said with hate in his eyes, remembering how easily the Yondaime beat him. "Like your name has good taste in mine. Now shut up and die," said Naruto as he moved quickly and was soon behind Zetsu. Zetsu tried to get away, but couldn't when Naruto pierced the Akatsuki member's skull with his sword before bringing it down halfway, and then proceeded to kill the plant-like man easily by spinning horizontally. Orochimaru growled at Naruto before calling up his own sword to use in battle. Pain had called up his other 5 bodies, and Konan started to use her paper-like abilities. Naruto just smiled at them all before his body erupted with demonic chakra and shook the ground around them, making his enemies fall back. He then let out a powerful roar and ran straight for Orochimaru. The Sannin tried to fight back, but Naruto's knife-like weapon stabbed them in the side, the back, and the right leg. One of the 6 pains then knocked Naruto away from Orochimaru so he couldn't kill him. Orochimaru got rid of his wounds by shedding his skin. He then started running through hand signs before slamming them into the ground. Orochimaru said, "Forbidden Jutsu, Impure World Resurrection." He knew he had one trick up his sleeve that would give him the edge. Naruto just waited for the golden coffin with the word, "Fourth," on it to rise from the ground, while Pain and Konan wondered why the Demon Lord didn't try to stop it since he knew what it was. When the coffin finally stopped moving, the front of the standing coffin fell down, revealing the body of Namikaze Minato, also known as Konoha's Yellow Flash. Also known as Naruto's dad. "This is it? This is what you're sending against me?" Naruto asked Orochimaru, who was holding a kunai with a seal tag on it and smirking meanly at Naruto. "Once I plant this in your father, you won't be bored for long, and you can face his full wrath while I control him," said Orochimaru, whose smile never left his face. Naruto just stood there and looked almost bored. "Naruto? Is that you?" Yondaime asked when he saw the boy, who was now a young man. His eyes, which looked like they were dead, got a little wider when he saw his son, who had grown up since he died. "In the flesh pops," Naruto said, his chakra just a little bit on fire, before telling the other Akatsuki members to back off and getting his own team ready to fight. "The last time I saw you, you were a baby. You had blonde hair then, so how did it turn red in that color? How has the village been treating you? Did they do what I asked them to do when I was dying?" asked Yondaime, looking at his son a little more closely and noticing that Naruto now had red eyes with slits. "You really are a righteous baka, Dad. They did the exact opposite of what you wanted. Your sensei lied to you when he said he would take me in, your student Kakashi betrayed me for the Uchiha who was on my team, and I was denied every chance to grow as a shinobi in the village even though I was able to win almost every fight I was sent into with shinobi who were supposed to be on par with my so-called sensei. But that part. I see. I'm sorry, my son. I really am sorry for putting you in that position, but I couldn't trust anyone else, and even if your chakra is that of a real demon, I just want to say that. I don't hate you. In fact, I couldn't be more proud of you," said Minato, smiling at his son, who smiled back and was glad to have his father back, even if only for a short time. "Enough of this drama. It was bad enough that Sensei had to talk to his predecessors, but this makes me want to throw up, said Orochimaru as he was about to put the seal tag in the late Yondaime, only to have the man spin around, grab Orochimaru's hand that held it, and break his wrist, which made the Sannin drop it. You were always too proud about your seal work, Orochimaru, the Yondaime said as he saw the Sannin and the other Akatsuki in Naruto's group look at him in shock. Orochimaru said, "This is impossible." When he saw that the Yondaime's body was now filling itself with life and the man looked like he was alive again. Only for someone who doesn't know what I did when I sealed the Kyuubi in my son all those years ago. With your jutsu, the souls you call from the underworld become your slave, but you forgot that when I fought the Kyuubi, I called the Shinigami, and my soul belongs to him forever because that's the price I pay for calling him. By the way, I perfected that by using my mastery of the elements I got from absorbing the Kyuubi to make myself a new demon lord, Naruto said as he saw his father turn to him and smile at how grown up he looked as a shinobi and a demon lord. It's good to know I made the right choice in which body to seal the Kyuubi in. My only regret is that I trusted the fools in Konoha to carry out my dying wish, Minato said as he let a tear roll down his cheek. At that moment, his body started to decay, which meant his time was up. Bye, Dad, Naruto said as he watched the body disappear. The demon lord let out a heavy sigh and turned around to see the last two Akatsuki members staring at him. They knew that if they moved, the demon lord's subordinates would stop them. We have to try to run away, Pain-sama, Conan said when he saw that they were now outnumbered by a huge amount, even if Pain had released his other 5 bodies. No, we must stay and kill this demon lord and those who follow him. All of the shinobi villages will bow down to us and make us their masters, and only then will we be the true gods of the elemental, said Pain, activating his Rinnegan and getting ready to fight this demon lord to the end. Conan screamed in pain, "Please, Pain, stop this. If we give up now, maybe they'll show mercy as she was pushed away by her partner, who looked at her with angry eyes. That's when the only woman in the Akatsuki realized this was no longer the man she knew. I won't give up. I'm a god, and a god doesn't give up to a lowly demon lord, no matter how strong that demon lord is, Pain said as he turned to face Naruto, who was getting his weapons ready for battle. Don't you know the old saying, Pain Teme? Even a god can die. All you need is a way to kill one, Naruto said as he moved forward to attack his opponent of 6, who was getting ready to fight back. Naruto moved faster than anyone could have imagined, but each of the 6 Pains could see his movements, even though one of them couldn't see them until it was almost too late. When Naruto moved to attack, one of the Pains saw it and used the Rinnegan to help the one being attacked block the sword or knife that would have killed the targeted Pain. After a while, this started to annoy Naruto. It doesn't matter how fast you move, demon. I'm a god, and with these godly eyes I can see all of your moves and stop you without a problem, Pain said, smirking at the demon lord. The demon lord growled, then smirked, and thought of something bad. So you're saying that with your godlike eyes, you can see everything, right? Well, here's something you don't want to see with those eyes, demonic art, Crimson Sun Jutsu. Naruto said, stopping his hands on a sign that Pain had never seen before. A bright red light that flashed so brightly that everyone had to cover their eyes to keep from being blinded. Pain, on the other hand, wasn't as lucky. The red light hit all of the Pain's eyes, causing them to scream out in pain, and Naruto was able to attack while they were blind. Within seconds of making them blind, Naruto either killed them with the end of his sword or by putting a clawed hand through their chests where their hearts were. That is, until there was only one. You may have beaten me, demon, but you can't beat Uchiha Madara, who is the real leader of the Akatsuki. Pain said this as he coughed up blood and looked up at Naruto, who looked like he had won. You think Madara will be able to control me the same way he controlled the original Kyuubi? If you think that, you're a fool, and all I can tell you is that the Sharingan eyes that man has won't be able to control me. Itachi tried that once, and he failed completely, Naruto said, seeing Pain look up at him in shock at that news before smirking at him again. Madara is stronger than Itachi. Even if you try to resist Madara, he will still kill you and keep using his power to make the world work the way he wants it to, Pain said before he stopped grinning. Laughed again, but this time it was a cold, demonic laugh. Didn't Madara tell you how he barely me when I took over Mist? I'll let you in on a little secret. You see, I let Madara escape. Yes, Pain, you heard me. I let Madara go so that he would know I could kill him any time I wanted, and I will kill him and all of his descendants when the time is right, Sharingan or no Sharingan, said Naruto, putting his sword and knife to Pain. Now that the man was dead, Conan was the only one left. She was on her knees, as if she was about to pray, but her face showed that she was at peace and ready to die. Naruto pointed at Kimimaro and Hinata and told them to pick her up. Then he walked over to her and turned to face her. "So I'm going to die standing up, right?" Conan asked, staring into Naruto's bloodshot eyes while the Demon Lord looked right into her soul. "No. Tell me, why didn't you try to fight me when you had the chance, and why are you so sure I was going to kill you right after pain?" Naruto asked the woman, who was looking at him with eyes that were both surprised and a little scared. "Because I knew it was pointless to try. Even if I had been able to weaken you, the people who came with you here would have stopped me and killed me. As for why I was so sure you were going to kill him after pain, I thought that since you were my enemy, you would do the same to me, and I accepted that," Conan said. Naruto laughed at her like it was a joke, which shocked her even more. "Where have I been here before?" "Ah, with Neji and him talking about fate and how sometimes you just have to accept things." "While what you just said is true, that doesn't make it any less of a Baka-like belief, and I'll have you know that I've been in situations where I could have just laid down and taken it like a wounded dog, but I didn't. It's because of those times that I'm not going to lie down and take it like you." "So, what happens to me now?" asked Conan, wondering what the Demon Lord had planned for her if he decided to keep her alive for a while longer. "Same thing I do with everyone who seems to have given up on life. I'm going to give you two options. Option 1, I kill you. Make it quick, clean, and painless since you never really hurt me personally. Option 2, you join me. You help me make things better for everyone in the world by killing evil, which is much better than helping it, and further repenting for your sin you helped commit with Akatsuki," Naruto said as the woman looked at him in surprise. Conan asked the Demon Lord, "Why are you giving me a choice at all? Why not just kill me and be done with it?" "Because I think that whatever made you follow this pain guy around wasn't so bad when you first started. When you saw how things changed, you thought you could talk him into staying on the right path, but the more he moved forward, the more you followed, and soon you were in too deep to turn back," Naruto said, seeing Conan nod, as that had been the case, and she knew that despite all her attempts to convince Pain to change his plans, she had failed. "That's right. By the time I got too involved, I knew the man I cared about was gone, and I felt the only way to honor him was to follow the shadow of what he once was," said Conan, noticing that Demon Lord's eyes softened a little because many people have followed others for similar but different reasons. "And now that he's dead, you have nothing to live for but to work for me to make up for past sins, and I'm only going to offer you this once. Do you say yes? Or do you say no?" Naruto asked as he saw Conan struggling with the offer, which was natural since she had lost faith in Pain when she saw him change when they joined Akatsuki, and it broke when he shoved her down like she was nothing. Like everything she had done for him and Conan herself didn't matter. "At least if I join, I'll be able to make a difference like Yahiko wanted to before he became Pain, and our dream will come true the way we wanted it to." Before she decided what she wanted, Conan thought, "Naruto is, in fact, the child of the prophecy. I can tell by the look in your eyes that you want to join me," Naruto told her when he saw that she had a new sense of purpose in her eyes. She nodded at him. "Yes, I'll join your group, Yokokage-sama," said Conan as she bowed to the Demon Lord to whom she had just sworn her life and allegiance. "Welcome to the group, Conan," Naruto said to the woman as she took off her Akatsuki robes and straw hat to show the group how beautiful she was. When Kimimaro looked at the woman in front of him, he thought, "She's beautiful." But now, when he looked at her, he felt something strange in his heart. He might be in love. "From now on, you will be my subordinate, just like the others, but I need to pair you up with someone to make sure your motives are pure and to help me get rid of the last of the evil in the world," Naruto said when he saw the woman nod her head. He turned to the person who would be her partner and saw Kimimaro looking at her with piercing eyes, which made the woman blush a little. Yugito, Nibi, and Hinata all thought, "Well, at least now I don't have to worry about her going after my Naruto-kun." They then gave each other a fierce look that said, "He's mine." "We'll go back to base to rest before we go to Konoha to crush it, and when we're done, we'll go find Madara and kill him," Naruto said, and the group they went to get some good old-fashioned rest. Konoha 2 weeks later. The fire daimyo was right, then. "You want to make me your version of Uchiha Madara so you can use me to control," Sasuke said as he looked at the council members with his arms crossed and a scowl on his face. Sasuke Uchiha was not amused. When was he ever, anyway? Most likely, the best answer to that question is barely, or very few in between. Council members from both sides begged him to meet with them, and after many hours and days of begging while playing to his ego, he finally gave in and met with them in secret, out of earshot of the Hokage. "Uchiha-sama, You need to understand that we did what we did because we needed the village to stay the same and your clan was going to betray everyone around them for personal glory. But our plans to make you the next Uchiha Madara are very different from what your clan wanted. If they had killed Itachi, they wouldn't have needed you anymore and might have killed you because you weren't as skilled as your older brother, Homura said as he watched Sasuke's frown turn into a glare and his eyes go from black to red. Let's say I agree to do this. What's in it for me, other than the power you were going to give me and the chance to kill Naruto? Sasuke said, knowing there must be a catch for them somewhere. Simple. We want you to take over as the next Hokage of Konoha after Tsunade. She hasn't been a good Hokage for a long time, and her judgment has been clouded by the fact that she is connected to the demon and Jiraiya was hurt by the same beast. Your clan was originally connected to Kyuubi, Uchiha-sama. If you can get your Sharingan strong enough to control the demon, you will be able to make him your loyal servant and force the other elemental countries to bow down to you. You could be the true ruler of all the land around you, and if anyone tried to rebel, it would be a piece of cake to call your pet to deal with them and show that you are better than everyone else, Danzo said, knowing that a Uchiha's will was always swayed by the thrill of being in charge. How true you are, Danzo-sama. Since he became my teammate, I've always wanted that loser to lick my boots, but I never had the chance to make him. Now that I have the chance, I will make him do it, and I will do it in front of everyone at my coronation, Sasuke said, grinning evilly at the thought of making Naruto look bad in this way. Konoha Hospital. Tsunade was finally able to get Jiraiya off the cross, and even though Jiraiya didn't want to live, Tsunade was able to fix him up. She put several Anbu in the room to keep an eye on the Sannin in case he tried to kill himself. She even made sure there were restraints in the room in case he tried to kill himself at least once. You know, she should have saved me. Jiraiya said to one of the Anbu in the room who was wearing a hawk mask, it was such a waste. She should have been getting ready for the storm that was coming. You shouldn't talk like that, Jiraiya-sama. Once Tsunade gets you back on your feet, we know you can come up with the seals needed to defeat the demon, just like the Yondaime tried to do years ago, the hawk-masked Anbu said, but Jiraiya laughed as if it were a bad joke that everyone laughed at out of sympathy. You don't get it, do you? Even if Tsunade heals me, I'm not going to fight Naruto, and I'm not going to help him try to kill anyone, even though it should be funny to watch him beat the crap out of everyone, Jiraiya said, sensing the Anbu's surprise at his little statement. By why, Jiraiya-sama? Asked another Anbu wearing a cat mask. He was wondering the same thing as the others, who couldn't believe that the Sannin who trained the Yondaime would just let the village die. Damn, you Anbu are idiots. I mean, why should I even defend, let alone die for, a village that treats the son of Yondaime like garbage? Jiraiya saw that the Anbu stiffened up at that comment, since they hadn't been very nice to the Demon Lord when he was still human and still a child. Surely, when the Demon Lord is stopped, the village will get back on its feet. The Hawk Anbu said this to Jiraiya as he looked at him. Jiraiya just laughed more and shook his head. The town will make things right? Pal, you're talking about a village that ganged up on Naruto when he was a kid without a family, beat him up, and then went on to celebrate his death when they thought he was dead years ago. But, like I said, you're all idiots, so it doesn't really matter to me right now, Jiraiya said as he leaned back in his bed and counted the tiles on the ceiling. Jiraiya thought at that moment that he had found something better to do than his perverted research, and if anyone else found out, they would probably think he had gone crazy. Maybe he had. Location not revealed. Konan walked forward while her guide, partner Kimimaro held onto her. She had been blindfolded when the group returned to the Yokokage's base of operations, and she would have to stay that way until Naruto gave that green light to trust the new member of the group. Konan didn't care because she had nothing left to fall back on with Akatsuki. If she went back, all it would do is kill her, and she couldn't go that route. Kimimaro will show you to your room, Konan-san. They are right next to his, so I don't think you'll be late when it's time to report to him. Now you two need to get some much-needed rest, because I want you to be at full strength when we destroy Konoha and show them what it's like to face a demon's wrath, Naruto told Konan and Kimimaro as they went to their rooms. Hinata, get Itachi ready to be taken somewhere, and Yugito, come with me. I need to look at your seal to give Nibi more freedom, Naruto said when he saw Hinata glare at Yugito. He then went to the room where Hinata had up with Pai. Yugito was a little excited because she would have to take off her clothes in front of Naruto, and if she played her cards right, she might be able to get him to do more than just look at her seal. Inside Yugito, Nibi was also happy because more freedom for her meant more fun time with Naruto, and the fact that she had been stuck in the young woman's body for so long without a way to get rid of some of her frustrations made her even more excited. You did remember to wear that skimpy thong to work today, right? Nibi told the demon to shut up, making Yugito turn a deep shade of red, or Naruto would find them. Before they got to the middle of the room where the biggest seal was above and below them, they walked into a room with seals all over it. Each seal was very complicated. After Naruto sent a pulse of chakra out, the seal worked, and the demon lord turned to face the demon vessel. I don't want to sound creepy, Yugito, but I need you to take off your clothes and show me the seal on your back, Naruto told her after he saved her in Kumo and saw the seal on her back. We've both been waiting years for this, said Nibi, licking her lips at Naruto as she saw him through the eyes of her vessel and waving her tails wildly at him. Yugito did what Naruto told her to do when he told her to take off her clothes. She was a little upset that he wouldn't let her take off her pants so she could show him how wet she was getting down there. She was still wearing her black and blue bra, which she would have had to take off soon, but Naruto told her it was fine. That's when the former Kumo woman realized that the demon lord wasn't going to do anything for her just yet. Soon. But not right now. First I'll take care of business with my seal, then we'll make love, and then everything will be fine, Yugito thought, trying to hold back the strange laugh that wanted to escape her body. But she didn't, because it was time to be serious. I'm taking off the bra. I need to see the whole seal, Naruto said calmly, but Yugito was over the moon because all she had to do after he was done was turn around and show him her lady parts. Patience, kitten, soon he'll be all ours, said Nibi, who could barely hold back her excitement about getting more freedom and finally being able to show Naruto her beautiful naked human body. Yugito waited patiently in a chair in the middle of the room, as her Nibi guest had told her to. She had to hold back a shiver when he touched her back and began putting seals on her with sealing ink on top of the seals that had been put on her when she was born. She felt him cover some parts of her seal while taking away parts that kept Nibi from doing certain things. Nibi told her that he was loosening the hold the original seal had on her. Naruto said, Demon Sealing Art, Seal Reconstruction Jutsu. After he had finished his work and turned on the new seal, which made Yugito gasp because the new seal on her back was making her feel strange. Yugito was about to fall forward when the seal stopped glowing, but Naruto caught her and put her back on the chair. He watched her take slow breaths while trying to ignore the woman's always impressive assets. As soon as Naruto was done, Nibi came out of Yugito's body human form, which she used when she wasn't a huge two-tailed cat demon. Naruto had to admit that Nibi was quite attractive. Naruto then saw that the female cat demon was naked, with long blackish blue hair, well-formed breasts, and two tails just above her rear that barely covered her private area when she moved to cover the front of her body. Thanks a million, Naruto-kun. Now that I have more freedom and don't have to worry about my poor Yugito-chan as much, I can show you my human form and give you a good example of it, Nibi said as she walked seductively toward Naruto and kissed him deeply. Naruto kissed her back after a few seconds of shock. I guess all this time you spent inside Yugito-chan has made things frustrating for you, Naruto said with a smile that was almost a smirk, and Nibi smiled back before kissing him more passionately and rubbing her hands over his muscled abs. You have no idea. I couldn't stand being inside Yugito-chan for all those days, months, and years because I couldn't be with my Kyuubi-kun. But now that you're Kyuubi, even if that's not your name, I see you as someone I can get to know well and help me enjoy my newfound freedom, Nibi said to Naruto as she kissed him again. Naruto kissed her back, and he felt her hands digging into his skin from under his shirt. Don't leave me out of this, Yugito said. She had gotten out of her chair and moved behind Naruto because she had seen the two demon lords kissing and wanted to join in. I guess I've kept you two waiting long enough. Let's do this somewhere else where it makes more sense. Like my room, for example, Naruto said after Yugito wrapped her arms around his waist and pressed her breasts against him. You've got 5 seconds before we rip your clothes off and take you here in this room, Nibi said, licking his jaw up to his ego's attention. Then, he wrapped the two women in his red power and the three of them disappeared into the male demon lord's quarters for some relaxation. Naruto thought, and then there was one, as he scratched Yugito's and Nibi's heads with his hands and wondered when he should get close to Hinata. It was clear that the Hyuga woman knew something was going to happen between him and these two vixens, but he would make it up to Hinata and make sure she got her time with him. She deserved it because she was probably the only person in Konoha who treated him like a person and not a demon. By Kami, he would make sure Hinata got all the love she had given him back, come hell or high water. Naruto stirred in his sleep and realized he had slept a lot longer than he thought in his big bed. The sound of a purring demonic cat finally woke him up completely. When Naruto opened his eyes, he saw that Nibi, in the form of a cat, was sleeping on his chest and that Yugito, in the form of a girl, had her head tucked into his strong body and was still connected to him at the waist. If Naruto didn't have morning wood right now, he would have gotten hard just from looking at the naked woman on top of him and feeling her hips move slightly, which was stimulating both of their bodies. Yugito moaned every time she moved her hips, which gave her sparks of pleasure but also made her feel full for reasons she couldn't figure out because she was too tired. She kept moving her legs even though she could feel her bed and pillow twitch, which made her feet feel twice as good. It made Yugito open her eyes a little bit, and then she looked up at the mountain of muscled flesh and saw that Naruto's face was slightly amused. In just a few seconds, though, the Nibi vessel started to remember what had happened earlier when Nibi and she had sex with Naruto. Even though Nibi didn't get as much as her vessel, the vessel knew that Naruto could more than make up for it later, and based on how hard his item felt in her, that time was now. When it was over, Yugito and Nibi were both exhausted, so they went back to bed and fell asleep with Naruto covering them to keep them warm. Naruto, who was now wearing pants, could see that both of the women sleeping in front of him were now pregnant with his children. He was sure that they would act just like Temari did right before her baby was born. With Uchiha Sasuke and his equally evil father, Uchiha Madara, on the run and a threat to Konoha looming, it would not be smart for him to bring these two with him to Konoha. Even after all this time, Tsunade was a great doctor, and Shizune knew a lot about the arts because the Slug Princess taught her almost everything she knows. If Nibi and Yugito went to Konoha with him, it wouldn't be long before the two doctors found out about the pregnancies. If they did, they would use the two as bargaining chips to get him to stop the guilty people in Konoha from being killed. Naruto's eyes burned with cold anger just thinking about that, and they burned even more when he thought about the councils taking his children. Turning his children into mindless weapons, making them submit to their touch, and making them feel like they were nothing but disposable tools to use and then throw away after dissecting their bodies to learn their secrets. Nibi-chan, Yugito-chan, and soon Hinata-chan, don't worry. I swear on the souls of our future children that Konoha will not touch any of you or our children when they are brought into this world, Naruto said as he left to find Kimimaro and Konan to put them to work. Hinata was carrying a medical chart with information about Uchiha Itachi, and she had a very serious look on her face. Naruto knew this because Hinata had used her Byakugan to see what happened earlier with the other two women, and she wasn't happy about being left out. He would make it up to her later, but first he had to take care of the business at hand and then deal with the Hyuga woman's anger. Hinata said, "Itachi is ready to be taken to Konoha, Naruto-sama." As her love walked towards the two rooms of the two people he needed to talk to, she saw Naruto smile at her, showing that he was happy. "Well done, Hinata-chan. Your skills as a doctor are much better than Tsunade's," Naruto said when he saw the woman blushing. He frowned when she tried to hide it, and she didn't want to look at him even though she seemed to want to because he was only wearing pants and was also shirtless. Hinata was still mad at Naruto for not including her in his sexual conquests of other women, and she wanted to be a part of it. However, Naruto wasn't going to apologize because he had planned for Hinata to be the last girl he was going to be with, and he thought Hinata needed to stop being so shy around him if she wanted to be with him. Naruto knocked on both doors and waited for them to open. When Hinata wasn't looking at him, he gave her occasional glances and wondered how long the hot Hyuga woman next to him could wait until the right time to pounce on him. He would make it happen before his trip to Konoha, but time was running out, and Naruto didn't want Hinata to feel left out of his group of beautiful women who made him feel whole. "Naruto-sama, you called us?" Kimimaro said as he came out of his room. Konan was just about to open hers, and they were both ready to do their job. "Kimimaro, you need to go to Suna and tell Subaku no Gaara that I need his help getting Uchiha Itachi to Konoha. You, Konan, are going to visit Jiraiya of the Sannin in the hospital, where he is staying because his wounds keep him from being out in Konoha, and give him the 6 heads of pain. He'll know who you are, but when you go see him, I want you to wear a mask so he doesn't know what you look like, and I want you to blend in with the people so you can spy for me," Naruto said. His two subordinates nodded in agreement, since it was clear that the demon lord in front of them was thinking several steps ahead. "What do you want me to do when I get back, Naruto-sama?" Kimimaro said, wondering what else he should do now that he had finished his job. "You won't be coming back here, at least not yet, Kimimaro. You and Gaara are going to meet me at the place we agreed on so I can take Uchiha Itachi to Konoha. Have Gaara bring his sensei Baki with him, and have Kankuro act as temporary Kazekage until his brother gets back from Suna," Naruto told the albino, who seemed to understand that it would mean they could be there to help. "What about me, Naruto-sama?" Hinata asked, not sure what her part would be in all of this. You Hinata-chan, you're coming with me up to the meeting point to help keep Itachi stable and make sure he doesn't die before Sasuke does, said Naruto, seeing Hinata nod her head and keep her face calm while inside she was trying to keep her anger alive only to find it was slowly dying away when she realized the demon vessel and the feline demon weren't coming with them. Hinata thought, the pregnancy is a way to keep them here, as she began to understand some of Naruto's unusual plans, which kept everyone guessing. Kimimaro bowed and said, we'll leave right away, Naruto-sama. Konan did the same, and the two of them left their master's presence to complete their mission. Come Hinata-chan, we need to make more plans for one Uchiha Madara once Konoha is gone, Naruto said, motioning for her to follow him. She was soon by his side, trying to hide the blush that wanted to show on her face from seeing so much of her love's muscled upper body. Konoha Hokage Tower. Are you sure, Hokage-sama, that you want my help with this? Shikamaru said. He didn't like the idea of helping fight Naruto and told the woman that when she called him to her office. Yes. Naruto has fought and won against every village so far. This has made him a master tactician. But none of the villages had as good a tactician as the Nara clan, and I need you, Shikamaru, to come up with a plan to stop Naruto from destroying Konoha, Tsunade told Shikamaru. Tsunade saw Nara frown at this because it was obviously troublesome, as he would say, and he wanted to turn it down. Can I ask you a question, Hokage-sama? Why are you on the side of the people in the village who hate Naruto? Shikamaru said. He had never understood the woman in charge of the Leaf Village, but he had never really understood any of the women in his life, which made the whole thing with women a pain in the ass. Because I am the Hokage. Ironically, the person who wanted me here in the first place made me the Hokage. I can't hate Naruto for his reasons, but I can't let the village die, either, because it's part of my grandfather's legacy. As the Hokage of the Leaf and a member of the clan that started it, I have to defend it, Shikamaru, said Tsunade. Shikamaru nodded at her, which showed that he understood, but his face also showed that he didn't like it. He made a mental note to try to talk to Naruto if he ever had the chance. I'll see what I can do, but I can guarantee that none of the other rookies are going to like it, Shikamaru said as he got out of his chair and went to tell the others, since he would need their help. Before Shizune came in with a report on Jiraiya's health, Tsunade thought, you're not the only one. I talked to Jiraiya-sama again today, and he's not going to fight Naruto or help make seals that could weaken him, like you wanted, Tsunade-sama, Shizune told Tsunade as she narrowed her eyes, sighed, and leaned back in her chair. His heart isn't in this fight, and I think a lot of other people in the village won't do it either, Tsunade said as she looked out at the village and saw people trying to go about their daily lives, but they were in a bad mood because of what the fire daimyo had told them, and Naruto was slowly ruining the happy lives they had built up over the years by being used as a punching bag. Well, this time the punching bag was going to look like an animal by having claws and teeth. This made it look even more dangerous. Can you say it's their fault they didn't want to fight Naruto? The village treated him like he was a demon, Jiraiya left the boy to take care of himself, Kakashi betrayed him, and then you and Kushina. Shizune started, but Tsunade stopped her with a look and told her not to finish. I'm sorry about that, Shizune. I really am. But Naruto needs to grow up and learn to let go of his pain, like we all do, Tsunade said before she felt a blast of killer intent from her student, who looked at her with angry eyes and slapped her across the face. You're such a hypocrite, Tsunade. Always trying to tell other people what to do, even though you know that's not how the world works. I think I remember a time during the war when you lost your little brother and my Uncle Dan. You haven't even done what you're telling Naruto to do now, which is to let go of the past, because you can't. It's not surprising that he wants to burn this place down. Shizune said before leaving Tsunade, who was shocked, to sit at her desk and think about why Shizune of all people had hit her in the face. Tsunade thought, I hate my life, and then she closed her eyes and tried to stop this major, mind-blowing headache from ripping her head in half. Location not revealed. Naruto sighed again as he sat down on his couch at home. Hyuga Hinata sat next to him, resting her head on his chest and touching his muscles, enjoying how ripped the man she loved was. They had just finished planning the downfall of Uchiha Madara, who was now all alone without any members of Akatsuki left to stand on. However, Hinata was still upset that she didn't get her turtling. Was that really so bad? She decided right then and there that she was going to get some of her Naruto-kun right then and there. She then lifted her head and moved her body so that she was sitting on the Demon Lord's lap, waking Naruto up to see Hinata right in front of his face. Without saying a word, Hinata planted a big lip lock on Naruto, who was surprised at first but soon got into it and was now rubbing Hinata's rear end and enjoying how nice. After Naruto broke up with Hinata, he took off his shirt. Hinata liked how big her C-cup breasts were and hoped they would get as big as Tsunade's when she stopped growing. Hinata then kissed Naruto on the neck while running her hands over his body. Naruto laughed as he kept rubbing Hinata's well-toned ass. "I see that we're all worried today, huh?" Naruto said as Hinata started the battle of the tongues again before kissing him on the neck again. The Demon Lord moaned at Hinata's offensive attacks on him, but he was happy that she was being so bold. "Yes, of course. You don't know how much I want you and how much I need you right now." Hinata said to Naruto, "The only thing I don't like is that I'm not your first one and I didn't have your first child, but I'm just glad to be with you right now." She did this by putting her head on Naruto's and looking into his eyes to show him how much she loved him. Something she finally felt good about telling him. "Alright, then. Let's do this somewhere else," Naruto said as the fire burned them both. Naruto got off of Hinata as she wrapped herself around her Namikaze lover. The former blonde was holding them together, feeling the heat coming off of each other's bodies and smelling like sex all over the bedroom, which Naruto loved because his senses were so sharp. "Naruto-kun, thank you for taking me with you." Hinata looked at Naruto and said, "I'm glad you finally said the words I've been waiting so long to hear you say." Naruto laughed hard. "Don't worry, Hinata. You'll have a lot more times like this in the future," Naruto told her as he wrapped them in the bedsheets and let them drift off to sleep. It was quiet before the storm. Meeting place. A few days later. Naruto stood there waiting for Gaara while Hinata waited by the stretcher with Uchiha Itachi, who was being kept alive by IV drips and other things being pumped into his body. However, that was the least of Naruto's worries right now, as Nibi and Yugito were protesting to him about how he was going to Konoha to destroy it without them, and how they wanted to be by his side always. Yugito and Nibi didn't want to admit it, but their shared lover had a very good point. They agreed even more when Naruto told them Hinata would only go as far as the meeting point before turning around and going home because she was probably pregnant. This made the two Hyuga growl and hiss at the Hyuga, who glared back because it was only fair that she get her turn with the man they all loved and have children with him. "Just remember, Hinata, that when this is over, you'll be in charge of the base while I'm gone, and you and Yugito will help Nibi through her pregnancy. Her pregnancy will happen faster than a human's, so it will keep you both on your toes and hopefully get you to work together. Do you think you can do it?" Naruto said without taking his eyes off where he was waiting for Gaara. He could feel Hinata nod in his direction. "Of course, Naruto-kun," said Hinata, who didn't care anymore because she got what she wanted, which was to be one of Naruto's many children's mothers. As soon as she said that, Subaku no Gaara, Kimimaro, and his former sensei Baki looked as serious as ever, but there was a hint of calm in their eyes, as if the man had a reason to relax a little around Gaara and not be afraid of the younger man he called a cage. "Hey Gaara. Are you ready to move Itachi for me? I know what I'm asking of you is a lot, since I'm taking you away from your work with Temari and your nephew. By the way, how is the little one?" Naruto asked, wanting to know how his son was doing. "Yes. He is doing fine. But for some reason, my nephew seems to be trying to kill Kankuro, and he's gotten my brother into a lot of trouble with women," Gaara said before laughing at the memory of Kankuro running for his life after little Gaara called Kankuro, Arrow Uncle, in front of women, causing those women to beat the crap out of his puppet master. Kankuro would try to get even, but Gaara would always run to Temari, and Temari would always finish what the other women started when they beat up her son. He reminds me a lot of Namikaze. I've never liked perverts, and I don't think Temari does either. So don't worry about your brother or anyone else trying to turn my son into a pervert. Perverts don't make good husbands unless they're being perverted with the women they love, Naruto told Gaara. Gaara said, "Let's go then," and used the sand in his gourd to wrap Itachi up. He then made Itachi's body float over to him and tightly wrapped the Uchiha in the sand. Agreed. Hinata. I'll see you later when I get home. Kimimaro, you're coming with me, Naruto said as he started walking with Gaara, Baki, and Gaara's brother, Baki, toward Konoha. Yes, Naruto-sama, Kimimaro said as he bowed to Naruto. He was glad to be able to help once more. Naruto-kun, wait. Hinata said as she ran up to him and kissed him on the lips before giving him a scroll with clothes on it. Thank you, Hinata. What is it? Naruto said as he looked at the scroll wrapped in clothes. If the kanji on it for looking sexier was any indication, looking sexier was written on it. You need something to wear to Konoha. While you were in Konoha, I, Nibi, Yugito, and Kimimaro helped make something. Hinata said, I hope you like it. We worked on it for a long time together, and I think it will look great on you. Thank again Hinata-chan. Kimimaro, the same goes for you. I'll put it on now before we get to Konoha, Naruto said before he called up a toad the size of a horse and told it to take Hinata home. Naruto didn't have to worry about the toads telling the injured Sannin where his base was, so Tsunade could send a whole army of shinobi after him because Jiraiya was out of commission. Gaara told Naruto, as he opened the scroll to see the clothes that the 3 women and 1 albino had made for him, "You're lucky to have people like her and the other 2 in your life. You can be too, Gaara. All you have to do is find that one person," Naruto said as he started to change. Gaara was making a sand wall to keep himself and Baki from seeing his new form. Gaara said with sadness, "There is no woman like that for me." He had always thought that, while he could love his family, no one could love him the way Naruto's women did. "I'm not sure," Naruto said with a smile that was hidden by the sand curtain. "I think I know a girl you might like." "Who?" Gaara said, knowing that if such a woman existed, he would gladly go find her and find out more about her. "Her name is Fuma Sasama, and she is from the Fuma clan." "You don't care that my hair is orange, right?" Naruto said as he finished getting dressed and put on the yellow-tinted glasses with zigzag-shaped frames. "No, I don't mind that you have orange hair." Gaara said to Naruto, "You look very scary in that." Naruto was now wearing a red leather trench coat wrapped around his body, and the glasses he was wearing were also very different. "Thank you. After we're done in Konoha, you should go to Wave Country and visit Sasama to learn more about her." Naruto said, "I'm sure she'll like you." He had a feeling that the 2 of them would get along great and that his son would have a cousin in a few years. Those 2 would definitely make Kankuro go crazy. In Suna right now. Kankuro soon started to shiver as he worked on the paperwork. Tamari was in the room with him, smothering her child with love and affection. "What is it, Kankuro?" Tamari said, "I haven't seen Kankuro shake like that since I made him change Gaara's diapers for 2 weeks after I saw him chase my precious little baby around the house when my son drew, Kanki's poopy nose, on the puppet master's puppet with bubble letters. I felt something wrong with the force. Where Gaara finally finds the woman of his dreams and has a child that makes me miserable," Kankuro said, shivering again and hoping that nothing like that ever happened. "Really? That's awesome. Soon, my little Gaara will have a cousin who can help him beat up his arrow uncle and get away with it because I'll hurt a certain arrow uncle if he tries," Tamari said as she watched her baby giggle with excitement. Kankuro's face turned pale because he didn't want that to happen. Kankuro thought, "Oh, Kami, if that happens, I might as well become a hermit or something and spend the rest of my life not trying to get laid while wishing I could," until he looked at little Gaara and saw the evil grin on his face. "You will bow to me," said little Gaara, pointing at his uncle Kankuro. This made his uncle's face turn even paler, and Kankuro started working quickly on the paperwork in front of him. Right now, living as a hermit sounded like a good idea. Go back to meeting up. Subaku no Sasama. I like the way it sounds, Gaara said with a smile as the group headed toward Konoha and the city's inevitable fall at the hands of the second-generation Kyuubi, which was the first-generation's vessel. Konoha Hospital after a few days. Konan walked through the halls of the building, which smelled like death and sickness, to her former sensei's room. When she got there, she saw that it was guarded by 2 Anbu, and there were probably more guarding the weakened Sannin inside. Still, she was an S-class missing nin, and when she was with Akatsuki, she was one of the 3 strongest people in the group, which now seems to be dead. Even a huge army of Anbu couldn't stop her. With that in mind, Konan went to the doors, knocked out the guards, and opened the door to see several Anbu in the room now looking at her with surprise that could be seen through their masks. Moving with blinding speed, she knocked down her opponents until she stood in front of her probably crippled sensei and saw him smile back at her. "Hey Konan. It's been a long time," Jiraiya says as he looks at her face mask, which was made from someone's stolen Anbu uniform and let her get this far. "So you can be sure it was me. You could always tell who was who and if they weren't what they seemed," Konan said. She couldn't do that, and she was sure that neither could Pain. "Where are you? I didn't think you cared about bedside manners unless you were with your leader," Jiraiya said to the woman as she nodded, even though that part of her life was over. "Naruto-sensei told me to give this to you. It's his way of showing you that the prophecy will be fulfilled by his hands, not by Pain's," Konan said as she showed him the scroll with 6 smaller scrolls sealed inside it. Jiraiya had a feeling he knew what was in each scroll. The fact that she said, Naruto-sama, made it clear that she was no longer by Pain's side in the world. "I see. When is Naruto going to get there to kill the Uchiha?" Jiraiya said. He wanted to be there for this event if he could, and he wanted to praise his student even though he had hurt him. Today, if I've done my math right. If you can get to the stadium to see the Uchiha fall, please do so, and see the godson you left behind to show everyone what fools they were. Konan said this as she left the room to go meet her master, hoping that Kimimaro and Naruto would be here soon with Naruto. Konoha front gate. Naruto walked next to Gaara, who had Baki and Kimimaro in front of him. Above them, in a large cocoon of Gaara's sand, was the slowly dying and heavily sedated Uchiha Itachi. The Chunin guarding the gate ran to tell the village about Naruto's arrival with the Kazekage and Itachi. Naruto, however, didn't care about any of this as he walked along. But as soon as Naruto got to the village square with the path to the stadium, he saw an army of shinobi from Chunin to Anbu in full battle gear, and some of the rookies were there too. Not many, but enough for him to feel sad that the Sandaime he thought of as a grandfather had failed to protect the younger generation from the hatred of the older generation. So, Naruto said, "I see you guys agree with the village that I'm your enemy and an evil demon." At the same time, Kimimaro used the power of his bloodline to fight until the end for his master. "We're not all Naruto. Most of us don't want to fight you, so it's hard for me to just stand here and watch. We're all here because Tsunade told us to stop you from destroying the village that her grandfather and great-uncle built years ago," Shikamaru said. He didn't want to fight his friend, and judging by how the other rookies looked, they felt the same way. Well, Sakura and Kiba are the only ones who don't count. Don't talk for me, Nara. We lost Hinata-chan to this guy. I want you to bring her back right away. Grumbled Kiba to Naruto, who smirked at the Inuzuka air and adjusted his shades on the bridge between them. Sorry, Kiba, but Hinata-chan can't come back because she's taking care of a certain Nibi, who will soon give birth to a whole litter of our children, and I wouldn't trust anyone else with this situation but Hinata-chan. Also, it won't be long before Hinata is in the same boat as Nibi and my other love, Ni Yugito, Naruto said with a smirk to Kiba, who now understood what he meant and was furious. He wasn't the only one who got it, but he wasn't as mad as Kiba was. You got her pregnant? Neji said, I'm a little annoyed that Hinata was with someone, but I'm glad it was the man she loves and someone strong enough to always protect her. Yep. The thing about the seed of a male demon lord is that it has a lot of power. You should ask Subaku no Tamari about it since she is another woman who helped me have a child, Naruto said when he saw Shikamaru and Gaara looking confused and worried, respectively. Are you sure that telling them about my nephew, who is actually your son, is a good idea? Gaara said, knowing that if people found out about his family, they would send wave after wave of people to kill them or take them away. Don't be afraid. Tamari can take care of protecting her son, Gaara, because she can make holy hell break loose if someone so much as looks at him. When she caught Kankuro trying to turn little Gaara into a pervert, she put him in the hospital for 3 months. Naruto said to Gaara with a smile, which made Gaara smile back and nod. When Kankuro got out of the hospital, he still couldn't walk right for another 3 weeks. Naruto-sama, I don't want to take you out of memory lane, but I think you have to get to the stadium to kill Uchiha Sasuke in front of the whole village and then most of the village, Konan said as he appeared next to Kimimaro. Kimimaro smiled at Konan because she was no longer wearing her Anbu mask and everyone could see her face. Thank you Konan-san. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a sad Uchiha to kill the stadium, Naruto said as he wrapped his friends and allies in crimson chakra and made them disappear in a flash of crimson light in front of the shinobi army. Leave it to Naruto to have something like that up his sleeve, Shikamaru said as he and everyone else headed toward the stadium. They all thought that Sasuke's power could beat the Demon Lord, so they didn't have anything else to worry about. Just you wait, Naruto. I'll kill you when Sasuke can't, take Hinata as my mistress, and make your scumbag child my little servant in the Inuzuka household, Kiba thought as he walked towards the stadium, thinking evil thoughts and looking forward to standing over Naruto's dead body while the village praised him for killing the demon. Hokage Tower. Shizune ran into Tsunade's office to tell the Hokage that the boy she thought of as her little brother had come back to the village. He's here, she said. So it begins. I suppose that the councils and Sasuke already know? Tsunade said this when she saw her assistant and student nod in agreement. The councils had told everyone to keep an eye on what was going on with Naruto, so this made sense. Yes. Right now, everyone is on their way to the stadium. Everyone thinks Sasuke will win because they think his Sharingan can control Naruto like Madara's did with the first one, Shizune said. She didn't believe that for a second and knew the village was in for a rude awakening. Might as well join them, Tsunade said as she put on her Hokage coat and hat, even though it felt wrong to her. Like she no longer had the right to it. Konoha Stadium. Looks like everyone is all here. Gaara, bring Baki, Konan, and Kimimaro with you to your own private box to keep an eye on Itachi. Make sure no one tries to free Itachi or help Sasuke kill him, Naruto told his friend, who nodded to show that he understood. He then went with the rest of the group to their own private area. As soon as the group went to their spot to watch, Uchiha Sasuke showed up with a smirk on his face, like he was better than everyone else. In the stands, Senju Tsunade sat in her chair with the other members of the councils, all of whom were excited about the power they would get from Sasuke when he takes control of Naruto with the Sharingan. Teme, it's been a while. Still think you're better than everyone else, like you always have? Naruto said when he saw Sasuke frown a little and then smile again. I know I'm stronger than everyone, Naruto. I've mastered my Sharingan eyes to make them unstoppable, and with them I will make you submit to me like Madara did to the first Kyuubi, Sasuke said as he turned on his Sharingan eyes. Naruto stayed as calm as ever, though, since those eyes had no effect on him. Is that why the councils have treated you so well? Thinking that if you control me, they will gain power by controlling you with more so-called power, that they have to give you in exchange for your loyalty? Not that you ever had any to begin with, since you'd rather betray your own mother for a quick increase in it than work your asses off to get it and get the full measure of it all, Naruto said, seeing Sasuke scowl because that hurt him very deeply. I don't care about the councils at all. Once I have you under my control, I make you my little pet and give you a collar, a food bowl, and everything else a pet needs. When this is over, I'm going to make you clean my boots with your tongue in front of the whole village as my first act as the new Hokage of Konoha, Sasuke said to Naruto with a wicked grin. Naruto just flipped Sasuke off and signaled with his hand for Sasuke to do it. You talk big, Sasuke. Now prove it and show me this power you say is stronger than mine, said Naruto, whose power was now flaring up all around him and whose eyes were red with anger. Get him, Sasuke-kun. Show him what a man should be able to do. Teach that demon a lesson, said Sakura, who was sitting in the stands with Sasuke's other fans. Shikamaru thought, what a troublesome woman. He prayed that Naruto would win and that Sasuke would finally get what was coming to him. Sure enough, Sasuke did, or rather tried to, before moving at breakneck speed and trying to punch Naruto in the face. The Uchiha couldn't, though, because Crimson Chakra that turned into a large claw knocked him back 20 feet. Is that all? Is this the only thing you can do? You might think you could beat me with your speed and the Sharingan. At least use a jutsu or something, because everything else is boring, Naruto said when he saw Sasuke frown at him, and he started making hand signs. Fire style. Dragon Flame Jutsu. Sasuke said as he fired red-hot dragon's fire at Naruto. Naruto covered his right hand with red chakra, which stopped the fire jutsu at his hand. Naruto said, weak, then put his glasses away. This made Sasuke angry at Naruto and wish he could use his curse seal, but he couldn't because Orochimaru was dead and the curse seal had left his body. You dirty demon, I'll show you how weak you are. Tsukuyomi. Sasuke said, showing that he had the Mangekyo Sharingan and wasn't afraid to use it. At first, nothing happened. Sasuke stood there with a confident grin on his face, and Naruto stood there with a stone-like expression on his face. Everyone in the village thought that Sasuke had won and forced Naruto to submit like he said he would. However, everything changed when Naruto blinked a few seconds later and then laughed at Sasuke's surprised face when his attempts failed. Surprise. I'm still here, I'm still me, and I'm going to finish you off before Itachi drags you to hell with him. Naruto said, then moved faster than anyone else and punched Sasuke in the gut. Sasuke was knocked off his feet by the punch, which was followed by blow after blow of unmatched fury from Naruto, who was hitting Uchiha with blow after blow of unmatched fury. The people in the stadium could only watch in horror as their Uchiha, savior, was being beaten to a bloody pulp by the demon lord they thought the Uchiha could control. How? How can he beat me? I'm a Uchiha. He's nothing but a freak, an abomination, and a loser who couldn't pass the exams 3 times. Thought Sasuke before a knee to the gut sent him flying into the air and Naruto hit him in the face with a bloody fist, sending Sasuke into the ground and making a 15-foot deep crater. It looked like you were surprised when your Sharingan didn't work on me. Because my will was stronger than yours, it didn't work. It has always been and will always be. For you see, the soul controls the body, and the purer the soul, the stronger the body is against things like what you tried. Because my soul is pure and yours isn't, Sasuke, you'll never be stronger than me. You'll always be that weak, whimpering little kid who ran away from his big brother when he killed the Uchiha clan and begged him not to kill him, Naruto said as he landed in the crater next to Sasuke. He then grabbed the beaten Uchiha by the throat and made a Rasengan with his free hand. It can end like this, Sasuke thought, even though his body was in such bad shape that he couldn't even move his pinky finger and could barely see out of his swollen eye. Die with your brother and all of your other relatives. Rasengan. Naruto said as he slammed his attack into Sasuke's stomach, causing the Uchiha's body to explode into 1,000 pieces. Sasuke-kun, said Sakura. Her love had been taken by Naruto, and she couldn't say anything when she saw Sasuke's body parts all over the place. Itachi whispered, foolish little brother, but his voice still echoed through the silent, shocked stadium. When Uchiha Itachi said his last words, he died, and his soul went to the deep parts of hell, where the rest of his family waited. He's dead, Gaara said when he heard no heartbeat in the sand. Get rid of him, Gaara. There's no point in leaving his body lying around for these vultures to pick apart to find out what happened to him, Naruto said before telling Gaara to crush Itachi's body into nothing. Kill the demon and get revenge for the Uchiha clan, all leaf shinobi who are loyal to this village. Danzo said, pointing at Naruto. Naruto looked up at the people and motioned for them to come take his head. Hey Danzo. You want my head? Come get yourself. Naruto said, then took out a handkerchief, wiped Sasuke's blood off his face with it, and set it on fire. Tsunade knows how to fight the demon. Homura pointed at Tsunade and said, you're a Sannin, so you have the power to disable him with your medical jutsu. Tsunade looked at the councils and then back at Naruto, where he was staring at her with red eyes that told her it was time to do what was right and not what other people said was right. No, said Tsunade when she saw the councils and the people in the audience below her look at her with surprise and wonder why she was saying no. No? Why? I'm angry that Tsunade didn't follow the Shinobi Council's direct orders, Kaharu said as she watched the younger woman slowly get out of her chair and take off her Hokage robes. I can't fight a demon who is attacking a village I don't think deserves to be defended and has lost the will of fire that made my grandfather start Konoha, said Tsunade. She then smiled at Jiraiya, who had now made it to the cage booth with a limp, for doing the right thing for once. Too long, Tsunade had let things get out of hand, let the councils do what they wanted, and let people hurt the son of the Yondaime without consequence. Naruto literally beat it into her that what had happened to her grandfather's village was wrong by making her remember what it meant to care about someone and that she was to blame for what happened to his mother when she gave birth to him. Today was the day that the leaf paid off all of its debts. The Shodem's will of fire is garbage. We, the two councils, want you and the clan heads to go kill the demon right away, said Danzo, who didn't want his plans to take over the elemental countries ruined by a sentimental woman who believed in her grandfather's beliefs, even if she only believed them right now, and by Namikaze Naruto, the second coming of the Kyuubi. The argument that was going to happen ended when a blast of demonic charka erupted from inside the stadium and covered the whole building with its power. The source of the blast was Namikaze Uzumaki Naruto, who looked up at the two councils, the civilians, and the shinobi who were all looking down at him in fear of what he was doing. Now that I have your full, undivided attention again, I'm going to tell you something before I send you all to hell. When you get there, no matter how loud you scream, you'll be there forever, Naruto said before he started making hand signs, which made everyone in the stadium very scared. This is it, I guess, Jiraiya said as he looked at Tsunade. She smiled at him and did the one thing no one thought she would ever do in a million years. She gave him a kiss on the lips and a hug. Tsunade held on to Jiraiya and said, see you on the other side, while the Toad Sannin did the same. Jiraiya said, I'll bring the sake, as he looked at her and then at Naruto, who was making hand gestures. Shut him up before he's done, Danzo said as wave after wave of Root Anbu jumped into the arena and charged the Demon Lord, who was still as calm as ever. But they were too late. Naruto had already finished making the sign for death, and he smirked at them all with eyes that were glowing red. Forbidden demonic art. Get rid of the wicked jutsu, Naruto said just before a huge flash of red light engulfed the arena and killed everyone who was in it. The day of judgment for Konoha had come. After the flash of light went away, Jiraiya and Tsunade looked around and saw that they and many other people in the stadium were still alive. When Naruto and a few other shinobi went to the top of the stadium, they saw that most of Konoha was gone. However, there were still some people in the village who were not hurt by Naruto's attack, and many of them were now looking at the Demon Lord who was standing in the middle of the stadium arena. Naruto, why didn't we die? Tsunade asked. She didn't see why she should still be alive after failing him, but here she was. Because, unlike the group of arrogant people who aren't here, you and Jiraiya are good people at heart and deserve a second chance. If you weren't, the jutsu would have killed you and sent you straight to hell. They looked as good as they did when they were young. But why restore our youth? Tsunade asked Naruto as she looked at him with wide eyes. Jiraiya did the same thing. So you two could finally admit your feelings for each other and settle down like you should have done years ago. Tsunade, you were always drinking and gambling while hating perverts for being perverts. Jiraiya, you were always the self-proclaimed super pervert and acting like a child all the time. I'm giving you both a second chance, and so help me Kami, if you two blow it I'll tear you both a new asshole the size of. Jiraiya saw that Tsunade was now looking at him with narrowed eyes as if he was insulting her, so she stomped her foot on his to make him cry out in pain. She did well. I expect you both to keep the other in line, and don't think I won't find out if you mess up. I have spies everywhere, and I'll know if one of you leaves the village to get away from the other for whatever reason, Naruto said as he turned to leave the stadium with Gaara and the others right behind him. Jiraiya asked Tsunade, so, do you want to start getting pregnant? Tsunade blushed and hit Jiraiya to the ground, yelling at him for being a pervert for asking her to be the mother of his child in such a way. Bakas. As Naruto and his group left Konoha, he thought, I'll have to make sure their kids don't turn out to be as crazy as they are. This was his last unfinished business with his last enemy, who was also Uchiha and the founder of the clan many years ago. Soon, all of Naruto's family business would be taken care of, and all of the ghosts from his past would leave him. 1 week later, Valley of the End. Uchiha Madara stood on the statue of himself and watched the figure walk up the statue of his rival from when Konoha was first built. He thought it was funny that things had come to this point. His organization had been destroyed, and he was the only one left alive. The Nibi and Shukaku were out of his reach because his current enemy was staring at him, and the Kyuubi he had once tamed with his Sharingan was gone. The statue was useless now because it needed at least 9 people with the rings to call it to get the demon out of their ship's body, which was impossible now. Madara could only kill this new Kyuubi, who was the son of Yondaime, and use him to get to the others and get some kind of revenge. Naruto said, "You came, and you're early, too." He didn't expect Madara to be here before him and wait for the Demon Lord. "You sound surprised, boy. You didn't think I would run away from you after your clone sent me a message to meet you here, did you?" Madara asked Naruto with a smirk. Naruto returned the smirk and let out a small laugh that could be heard all over the Valley of the End. "Since I let you live the last time we met, I half expected you to refuse and hide under a rock, like you have done since before I fixed Konoha," Naruto told the Uchiha, who was frowning at him and reminded him of Sasuke. "You surprised me, boy, but the thing about a Uchiha is that you can't surprise us the same way twice, and to do so would be foolish," Madara said as he turned on his Sharingan. Naruto laughed at that like it was a joke. "And you should know, Madara, that anyone with Namikaze or Uzumaki blood has surprised people from your clan more than once," Naruto said before he and Madara got into a fighting stance. "Not against me, you can't," Madara said, and then the two of them went at it. They both jumped off their statue heads and hit each other in midair, making a loud sound. Says the man I left near death running away from mist when I took it without breaking a sweat. Naruto said before the two of them broke off and landed on the water's surface, just like the Namikaze had done with Sasuke years ago. Madara said, "Fire style, Inferno Tornado Jutsu." As he fired a fire tornado at Naruto, who sank under the water and started making hand signs. Water style, Water Bomb Jutsu. Naruto thought this as he fired his own jutsu at Madara from the water. Madara jumped away before the attack hit him and landed far away while waiting for Naruto to get up. Madara said, "Well done, boy. You used the darkness of the water below us so I couldn't see you with my Sharingan. You also knew that the steam from the fire jutsu would further blind me." Madara knew that not many people could stop the Sharingan from working, but Naruto was one of the few who could. "Thanks. I picked it up from Zabuza himself when he fought Hitaki Teme back in Wave Country where they named a bridge after me. With all the mist he created, Zabuza made Hitaki's own Sharingan useless, and the same could be said for yours in this scenario. All I have to do is take away the advantages that your eyes possess," said Naruto, as he rose from the water with his eyes closed, and his hands in the water so Madara couldn't see what he was doing. "That's smart, but it will take more than what a low-ranking missing nin knows to beat me, and I'll make sure you never go back to the people who love you," Madara said as he rushed at Naruto at a speed that seemed impossible and thrust his palm forward with the intention of ripping out the Namikaze's organs. At least I have people to love, unlike your heartless baka self. Naruto said as he moved to his right to avoid Madara's attack. He countered with the finished hand sign for his wind slicer jutsu, but Madara teleported away and grabbed his arm. He got me. Me. An eternal person who has no equal. Even the last Kyuubi gave in to my power soon after we met, but this one is different. He wants to show that he is not tied down by his own chains, Madara thought as he exploded with chakra and moved faster than even Naruto had expected. Naruto was hit in the jaw by the Uchiha's fist, which sent him flying into the mountain cliff behind him. Madara was right on top of him, pounding into his body without stopping. When Madara saw that he was about to win, he grabbed Naruto by the throat and looked at him with his Sharingan eyes, which were full of his cruel power. Damn. And I thought the old hag could hit like when I was younger, Naruto thought as blood trickled out of his mouth and he felt his body slowly healing from other internal injuries. You are going to be my new pet. When I tell you to bark, you will bark, and when I tell you to destroy what I want, you will destroy what I want. Said Madara as he called all of his evil chakra to his Sharingan eyes and attacked Naruto's mind with them, just like he did with the last Kyuubi to make the Demon Lord submit. And I want ramen that's healthy to eat in the morning, afternoon, evening, and even sometimes at midnight, but you don't see that happening, do you? Naruto said as he attacked back with his chakra. It was now a battle of wills, and neither of them was going to give up. You can't win, boy. I forced the last Kyuubi to submit, and I can do the same to you. The only reason I didn't do it sooner was because there were too many obstacles in my way, but now that you've taken care of them all, I can start over with a chance to rebuild Akatsuki from the ground up, and turn you into the means to control the world into being my slaves. Said Madara, as he continued to try to force Naruto to do what? Funny, that's exactly what Sasuke said when he looked into my mind with his eyes, and look what it got him. Absolutely. Nothing. Said Naruto as he moved his right clawed hand while Madara was busy fighting his own inner self. Madara yelled, "Ah!" as the Charka Flare gave Naruto the power he needed to swipe at the Uchiha's eyes and cut one of them out of the socket. If you had white hair and looked like a scarecrow, you could pass for my old backstabbing sensei, Naruto said to the stunned Uchiha, who was bleeding from his right eye socket. Madara said as he made hand signs and got ready to use another jutsu, when I'm done with you, there won't be enough of you to fit in a matchbox, and even less to be considered ashes. That's very kind of you, but I'd rather there be nothing left of you when I take you out of your body and let the Shinigami deal with you, Naruto said as he formed the Rasengan and saw Madara form the Chidori. Sasuke and Hatake both seemed to like this jutsu as a way to kill you. I think they were right to use it, said Madara, grinning in a way that didn't look human, and the fact that he didn't have eyes didn't help. And I think you, like them, are a total baka, and you're going to die here, where you should have died years ago, Madara Teme. Said Naruto as he and Madara charged forward, grinning at the excitement of this fight ending in this way. Madara and Naruto both said, Chidori, Rasengan. At the same time, just before they used one jutsu against the other. Then Madara did a magic trick and teleported behind Naruto, who was surprised, and pushed the Chidori into the back of the Namikaze's head. I hope you don't mind that I decided to make that fight you had with Sasuke here with me in his place a little different, Madara said with a grin that turned to shock as Naruto went, poof, and found himself being held down by a few Naruto clones with the real Naruto standing right in front of him. Really? I could have said the same thing about how I played it differently, but you had to go first, like all the Uchiha you helped breed, and take the spotlight, Naruto said in a mocking way as he put his hand in Madara's eye and pulled it out, much to the Uchiha's protest. Madara said, You fool. Do you have any idea what you've done to me? As the clones disappeared and the original stood on the edge of the cliff looking down at him. Yeah. I took away your immortality or whatever the hell you call it, Naruto said before crushing the man's eye in his hand and smirking at his angry face. Damn you, Namikaze. I refuse to accept defeat and death like so many have before me. I will not be like other mortals. I will not die. Yelled Madara, shouting the last part to the heavens as if to defy Kami, even though his body was already feeling the effects of losing his eyes. He was getting older. Oh, you'll die, Madara. But not by my hands, Kami's, or even the Shinigami's, though I'm sure he'd like to be the one who does it. The one who will kill you today will just be time itself, Naruto said as he watched Madara's once beautiful hair turn from jet black to gray to white and his once handsome face turn old with wrinkles and pale skin. Pale as death. Damn you, Namek-ah. Yelled Madara, but he couldn't finish his few choice words. The famous founder of the Uchiha clan died, and his body, which used to look young, turned into ash. Naruto turned to the statue of Madara, flipped it off just for fun, and disappeared in a swirl of red flame. Epilogue 4 years later in Suna. Kankuro yelled, "Help! Gaara is trying to kill me," as he tried to get Gaara off of him while Gaara and his siblings were beating the crap out of him. "Where's my money? You owe me money for losing that big bet 2 weeks ago, Uncle Kankuro," said Gaara as he and his half-brothers and sisters beat Kankuro's head into the ground. Gaara's 2 half-sisters, Luna and Sarah, were kicking Kankuro in the ribs, while his 3 half-brothers were biting the puppeteer's legs or arms. Luna's hair and eyes are the same color as her mother's, but they have a hint of blue that makes them look exotic. Sarah copied Yugito and liked fish like her. She also had to fight the urge to scratch chairs when no one was looking. Their 3 half-brothers were triplets named Dante, Virgil, and Nero. They all had silver hair, which came from their mother's side of the family, which was called Nibi. She loved those 3 from the moment they were born. She gave them all of her love, and they gave it back to her in full. As for Naruto, he was glad to have his own family and to be able to raise children he would love. "You should pay Kankuro what you owe him," said Subaku no Gaara as he watched his brother try to get away from the beasts that were attacking him. Kankuro would never call them that because he wouldn't want to risk dying a horrible, painful death before he lost his virginity. Kankuro screamed, "Where are the parents of these creatures?" just as Luna and her half-sister Sarah started biting his arms. Gaara smiled as he watched the group of children playing with his brother and looked over at his own love, Subaku Fuma Sasama, and their 2-year-old daughter Yachiru. Right now, Sasama was feeding the little girl. When she was born, she was full of energy and almost drove Gaara crazy. Again. But it was all worth it because their little girl with the purest pink hair, which was probably a mix of each parents they had ever seen, made them smile even on the darkest day and made the whole village seem happier. She also calls Kankuro Fruity Man Lady all the time because the puppet master said the makeup she wore was war paint. Crap. Kankuro thought, the more kids they have, the more of a chew toy I am, and the more I get beat up by little monsters whose parents are so strong that if I even look at them, they will cripple me in ways I can't even imagine. He knew that when Naruto married all those women, one of whom was Temari, it wasn't a marriage where the brother of the bride warns his brother-in-law about what would happen if anything happened to them. Why wasn't Kankuro born into a normal family? Then he could have made all the usual threats to his brother-in-laws when they got married. Right now, they don't want to be bothered, so we're acting as babysitters for the next few days and keeping the kids away from there. Intimacy, Gaara said as he looked at Sasama again. She gave him a wink, which made him blush. Tonight, someone was going to get some. At the moment, Namikaze Estate. Naruto was in bed with all of his lovers and the mothers of his children. They all had smiles on their faces because they had been making love for hours. It had been a hard couple of years because of each woman's pregnancy, with hormone imbalances, mood swings, and the occasional jutsu aimed at the man they loved. But in the end, things worked out well because any jutsu they used was nullified, and Naruto made sure that any anger they felt because of their mood swings was directed at Kankuro. Temari told little Gaara over and over again to hurt Kankuro, and her little brother never saw it coming. Nibi asked Naruto-kun, "Do you think we're pregnant again?" She loved being pregnant with his children, and the thought of it made her so happy that every time they made love, she wished for it to come true. "I hope so, Nibi-chan. I really want to have as many children as possible with all of you. I want to be a father to our children and love them like any father should," Naruto said. He had always wanted a family, and now he could have one. Hinata said, "There is no better man than one who wants to settle down, have lots of kids, and take care of them all." She was just as excited, if not more excited, about being pregnant than Nibi, and she wanted another boy this time so Luna could have a brother. "Would you have me any other way?" Naruto asked as he looked at the woman who was hugging his right side along his abs and kissing his body. "No. We want you as you are, Naruto-kun. No other version of you would be better than the one we have in this bed, and we wouldn't trade you for anyone else in the world," Temari said as she held him closer and felt the ring on her finger press against his back. Temari remembered that at the wedding, when Naruto married her, Hinata, Yugito, and Nibi, Gaara had to use his sand to cover Kankuro's mouth and the mouths of his puppets because someone didn't want them to get married. For that, Temari had Gaara shave Kankuro's head. "That's good, because I don't feel like changing anytime soon," Naruto said as he kissed them all and was able to bring their bodies closer to him. Yugito said, Someone's up for another round, as she felt little Naruto rise up inside her and saw Naruto grin like a fox. Well, all this talking has gotten me a little bit excited, Naruto said as he squeezed Yugito's rear end and made her moan in pleasure. That, and you have 4 naked women on top of you, Tamari said as she moaned when he pinched her nipple and squeezed her breast. That, too, said Naruto. Then they all laughed and started the long, fun process of making babies again so that their kids could have little brothers or sisters. Oh yes. Peace had finally come for Namikaze Naruto.
So that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel for more awesome stories like this. Thank you. See you all in my next video.